And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in another edition of TigerBait Live. Big show tonight. Of course, the headline of the show is LSU baseball. It's hot and heavy with Purdue Fort Wayne coming into the box on Friday. We're going to see if that ends up being a doubleheader with a poor weather outlook on Saturday. Hopefully it's not. But right now, first pitch is Cade Anderson at 2 o'clock on Friday. And Jay Johnson with a lot of breaking news the last few days. We're going to talk about that. LSU women head to Texas, but the Longhorns have a big one in Lexington tomorrow night before they face LSU, host LSU in Austin at 2 o'clock on ABC Sunday. And now we're, about 3 weeks, less than a month away from the start of football practice, spring football. That, a lot of excitement, looking forward to that one. And if y'all want to talk to the men's team, we can, but maybe you don't want to. All right, buddy, welcome in.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough. Of course, Mike, the publisher of TigerBait.com, been around a long time. Did you see the breaking news that Jay Johnson gave him and Kendall Rogers yesterday? Great show with Batter Up. Great to have those guys on the show. It is baseball season, and I got to tell you, this is probably – I know Jay Johnson has to forget all the things that are being said, but from the depth, from the position players. And, a couple of years ago, I made an idiot of myself saying, man, they got 10 lefties, best lefties ever. Only 4 lefties, but they have got some serious depth. 4 catchers, 8 outfielders, Milam to short, Braswell to third, Jared Jones back at first, on and on and on. If they stay relatively healthy and don't succumb to those crazy injuries, I see nothing but good things. Of course, as you and I have been talking about, the SEC coaches gave Coach Johnson a real nice early Christmas present by voting them 4th in the league. A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas, 1, 2, 3, LSU 4, and yet they're number 2 or 3 nationally. So a lot of
Birdie tells me that Jay's ballot, he put his team LSU at 9th.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, Jay Johnson, when he saw that poll and they came in at 4th, he was doing the moonwalk in his office. That's what he wanted that. So,
but as you alluded to, men's basketball. Look, we're not going to beat up Coach McMahon tonight, but that was a travesty to let Ole Miss come back. And I got a friend, Colonel Reb, who said, "Well, you guys stole one in football," and so we had to return the favor. But and the women, a big game on Sunday. Look, Lady Horns just beat Carolina, stopped the 57-game winning streak in the SEC. Now they've got Kentucky, which is a really good team. They did just lose to Ole Miss, but 10-1, Texas, LSU, Carolina, all going into the final stretch here. So great guns there. And
softball
of course,
off to a great start.
Softball off for a great start. And in fact, that lady said we didn't know what the hell we were talking about on softball. I told the folks out there there's 2 freshmen that you need to lock in on. Kaylin Chio with gymnastics, been fantastic. And Jaden Heavener, the first time LSU's ever had a lefty, and she throws a perfect game. And, oh, by the way, don't forget Valentine's night, LSU number 2, hosting number 1, Oklahoma. It will be a hard sellout. So even though there's not a lot of pressing topics, we got a lot to talk about tonight.
D.A. Mike, if you and Preston ever had a job that you had to punch in, y'all would have been fired the first week for being late. Just kidding, Mike. No. I don't know what's going on. I think I need to replace the cable coming into this computer. It's now a couple of weeks in a row where I've had issues, and I think it's probably because I've stepped on that cable one too many times. But so finally got it figured out. But it's on me. I get it. Chance Babin, what's LSU's chances of landing Bryson Martinez? How good can he be? The one thing I've thought about Bryson the last couple of years is he sure is quiet. He doesn't do a ton of interviews. He goes to junior days and this and that. I have a hard time believing that LSU is going to lose a kid from Louisiana. But look, the one thing that most of you kind of feel that way. Look, we talked to a lot of the kids that were at the junior day last week. All had great visits. And you can talk about the kids from Mississippi. Put it this way. What did I say about the kid from North Mississippi that decommitted? All right.
He wasn't going to stick.
Well, here's the other thing. Let's say he was still a commitment. What does it really mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's always been the case in the almost 30 years of me covering recruiting, but now it's even worse. Where do you want to be in recruiting? You want every kid on your list to have you in their top 2 or 3 in October, November. Then you're really in it. Maybe this time you'll be the guy who's sneaking at the end and stealing one from somebody, and rather than having someone pick your pocket. But look, that's going to go on everywhere. Everybody's going to have their pocket picked, and then you've got to pick somebody else's pocket. That's the way this is going to be the rest of the way.
Look, the safety from Bradford from Cavalier, obviously the U-High lineman who is highly touted.
Lamar Brown.
Yeah, so there are a lot. I always ask you this, is 26 going to be really good for the state of Louisiana? And this is one of the kids we're talking about, maybe not a top 5, but certainly is he a top 10, top 15 in the state?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So early to be sweating them, but I think that, and you and I have talked about this, this is a change of philosophy. This is the Ole Miss and Ohio State mentality this year. Going to put a lot of money in the transfer portal. Now you got to, Ole Miss choked away a game at home against Kentucky and let LSU steal one from them here. Ohio State used those 9 transfer portal guys to win a natty. So probably somewhere in between with LSU, but this is put up or shut up for BK and LSU.
And so what does that tell you? They use them to win a national championship, and whereas Norvell's in trouble because he got the wrong ones in the portal. It could be feast or famine if you don't get the right ones. I think LSU got a lot of right ones in December, and I'm looking forward to seeing them at practice. All right, let's see. Good question, Will. How good will you guys feel about LSU making the playoff if they lose week 1? I wouldn't. If they lose week 1, I wouldn't bet on it.
No, they've got very little room for error. If they lose week 1, then their percentage is going down because you're going to have to go 10-2, and you start talking about the games that you're going to have on the road. Just those games right there. What, Alabama, Oklahoma, Vandy? I think this LSU team could be 9-3 and be significantly better of a football team than they were this past season. Yeah. Well,
the schedule just sucks.
Let's not even talk about the L for the first week. They've got to win the first game. They've got to win the first game. And BK's going to hear it 1,000 times, but he knows it. They've got to win the first game and stop the 5-game losing streak to open up the season.
Yep. John Smith, hey, Mike and Buddy, glad to be here. Glad to have you with us. Ryan Statler, I don't care about anything these kids say till the name is on the dotted line. Ryan, that's kind of always, you've always had a segment of fans that have been that way for 25, 30 years when it comes to recruiting. And then there's the diehards that in recruiting, like myself, that, kind of would roll their eyes when someone would say that. Now everybody feels that way for the most part.
But I got to ask you this question because, signing day was last Wednesday? Yeah. There's no pop. Now, I know Haywood, a big offensive tackler, was committed to Alabama, ended up going to Michigan. But I'm wondering if they're going to keep this second signing day, seeing that 90-something% of the guys are signing the first period now.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think it stays the way it is.
I do too, but it doesn't seem like there's much emphasis on the second signing. Once again, another transfer portal window in April sometimes, Mike.
Yep. Ryan said, if they don't win week 1 against Clemson, you can count the playoffs out there. Guaranteed to lose at least one head scratcher in conference and a coin toss game as well. That's what I'm saying. I absolutely think they could be 9-3 and be way better than they were last year overall as a team. You just got to go to Clemson. You got to go to Ole Miss. You got to go to Alabama. You beat the stew out of Oklahoma, but you saw what they did at home in front of their fans when Alabama came to town. They're going to be just as high as a kite when LSU comes to town, and they're going to be a better football team this upcoming year than they were last year.
Don't forget to add Vanderbilt, who beat Alabama
right,
at
their
go
place.
There. And so, look, on paper, it is a very tough schedule. We say this every time. I am not going to make the same mistake and predict them to come out of the gate 5-0 or whatever. But if they do beat Clemson, then they've got an excellent chance. That is just a must win. I think all of us are going to agree. You just don't have any room for error, Mike, if you lose the first game.
Absolutely. Y'all do me a favor. Please hit that like button if you're enjoying the show, and share the link to the show on your Facebook, or text it out to your friends or any social media. Let them know we're live. We're going to go till 7 o'clock, and then I'm going to turn around at 7:30 and do Inside LSU Women's Basketball. Of course, Emily Ward with me, and Jacques Doucet is going to peek his head in there about halfway through as well. So that'll be a fun show. A lot of people tuning in for that each week now. This will be our third show tonight, but let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
Like they say in the commercial, call 855-PRIDE-16, say TigerBait, and when they come out to give you a free roof inspection, they're going to give you TigerBait Premium free for a year. Can't beat that deal. That's a $99 value, and they're paying for it. And so that's a great way to get a nice TigerBait subscription. But also, if you're getting bids from other roofing companies and you've got it on their letterhead, you've got a quote, those guys at Pride Roofing will beat it by $150, and they want to earn your business. And again, a great Louisiana company. Known Mike Faraday my entire life. Great family, born and raised here, and Broadmoor High grad, I always tell you, and he's an LSU grad, big LSU fan, and we talk sports almost daily. So Pride Roofing, buddy.
They're not only good people, folks, but you're going to be proud to do business with them. We talk about residential, commercial metal roofs that changed ever since the acquisition of Crown Metals, but they do, and all the extra things. They've got all the shingles. They've got the high quality materials. They will take care of you. They will talk you through any problems that you have. Meet with your insurance adjuster. Get on the roof. Talk about what you need to do, and do it in a very professional manner. They will sharpen the pencil. As many of us have called you and I up, say, look, they're a little high here. Can you do something? Mike wants to be involved. Alex is incredible, cutting edge. Pride Roofing, always a free inspection. Make sure you call them, 855-PRIDE-16. Tell them Mike and Buddy sent you over. You will not be sorry.
Chance Babbitt, how come no one is questioning Texas A&M's new head baseball coach? Has he ever been a head coach? I'm forgetting his whole resume.
Yeah, and look, I had Ben McDonald on today, and you know, here's the catcher. And you know, in football, they just grab the throat and they find a way to get to 8-4. Now, they did do 10-2 the year of COVID, but still were on the outside looking in. Had a chance last year, choked a little bit. You know, A&M fans, we talk about LSU fans, but LSU fans are mighty spoiled compared to A&M, but everybody's putting them number one in the country. You and I had the prediction today. I picked 20-10. Ben McDonald picked 18-12. He's got 19-11. That's what we're picking in the SEC schedule and results. But I want to see A&M.
What do you know what the average has kind of been for the SEC, the first place team? I mean,
well, it just depends.
Tennessee had that amazing, but that's kind of
20-10 generally gets you everything that you need.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but a lot of depth. And Mike, speaking of men's basketball, I have never, ever seen it before. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are in the top 5 this week. 4 of the top 5 in the SEC men's basketball. You ever remember that before? I don't.
It's crazy. Both men and women's SEC teams are just wiping the country. I mean, what the SEC men's teams are doing, I mean, where's the ACC in comparison?
Well,
I mean, it used to be
the ACC was 4 with Duke, but look, Tennessee got beat once again by Kentucky. That's the second time Pope and the Kentucky Wildcats.
But I mean, the SEC was never close to the ACC.
Yeah,
and now it's
no, that's right.
And
uncharted
now,
territory.
And last year you had two ranked SEC teams in women's basketball most of the year, and now you've had 7 and sometimes if you're counting others receiving votes, 8 or 9. And of course, you look at LSU's women's schedule the rest of the way. I mean, it's all toughies. Great schedule. Particularly those who, always want to whine about Kim's December schedule. Now when you've got this many SEC women's programs really getting it done and getting it together, if you're a season ticket holder, you're getting treated to some really nice games. All right. Ryan Stadler, championship teams don't lose week one openers. And John Smith adds, Brian Kelly has to start winning season openers. That is a must. And
well, let's take Ohio State, okay? If you remember, and folks, it doesn't matter where you're at, Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Florida, whatever. You lose a game and it's overreaction. But you remember the reaction after Ohio State got beat by Michigan? Mm-hmm. Ryan Day was going to be gone. They're going to run his ass off. They're not going to do anything. And all of a sudden, they started peaking at the right time, and we're the best team in college football the last month of the season. But they also had Caleb Downs coming over from Alabama, Judkins coming over from Ole Miss. So you got to have the players. But I do agree this time, because this is going to be a psychological hit. If they go to Clemson and lose that first game, I don't care if it's a point or 10 points, that is going to be a psychological hurdle that he's going to have to get his team to overcome.
Here's the bottom line. LSU's consecutive losses in openers is a national embarrassment.
Yeah.
That's an embarrassment.
And please don't come in with that wussy ass, well, ought to put Grambling up at week 0 to get a game in. They need to go to Clemson and win the darn game.
Yeah.
And Mike and I have been hearing a lot of things.
Every one of these games should have been – LSU should always have won those games. I might give you one of them, but this is embarrassing.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I tell you what they think in the program. Everything I'm gathering is that with what they did in the portal, you've got people in that football building that think that they're going to win a national championship this year.
Well,
I mean, look, it's not crazy to say Garrett Nussmeier is absolutely a front runner to win the Heisman.
He's definitely a contender.
And so when you have that, and we saw Blake Baker with sticks, mud, duct tape, and paper clips, getting his defense in the 50s, total defense at the end of the year. Imagine what he can do now with the infusion of talent that he's got coming.
I tied in what Philadelphia did in the Super Bowl, Mike, with what I want to see LSU do. And if you can impact the line of scrimmage with your front. Now, they didn't do it without any blitzing. LSU is going to have to blitz. We know that. But they've got edge rushers coming in. They've got better D tackles. They've got more size. They've got great linebackers. But you've got to dictate the tempo of the opponent's offense. And Philadelphia did it. Patrick Mahomes looked like a 2-star on Sunday because he could look up and he was getting sacked or getting beat up. So the physicality on defense has got to be there. Oh, by the way, Mansour Delane and DJ Pickett and other guys at corner going to have to help shut down. But if you have that kind of defense, you could play old school. And that's going to be one of the big questions. Just how active and good can that defense be on the afternoon or night of August the 30th?
Kill some time for me, buddy. I want to do something real quick. Go ahead and talk a little bit, and I want to get something before I introduce someone in the chat.
Okay. Well, anyway, always good to have all of you. Hope everybody, don't forget about taking care of your loved ones. Of course, everybody knows Mike has announced it that he is now in a serious relationship and is engaged to get married. He has not invited me yet to the wedding because the date has not been set. But you didn't know I was going to go down that highway.
We're likely.
But congratulations to you and Joby.
We're likely to run off and get married. But this is what I was uploading since he's here in the chat. Carl the Cat, and I've got a photo of him from Sunday's game in the PMAC. There he is, Carl the Cat. Check out that outfit.
Cat has been.
Don't be mad at me, Carl the Cat, but I had to do it.
Hey, I got to tell you something. We've never had this poll. But Carl the Cat is top 10 dresser of all the fans I've ever met.
He's a huge fan. Love him. And
he's always got the Tiger garb, and he always supports them. And, of course, what an atmosphere against the Lady Vols on Sunday. Man, that Texas game on Sunday is going to be lit up. And, of course, the next Sunday, LSU's at Kentucky. The next 2 Sundays going to determine what their seed is going to be probably moving forward with the big dance.
Carl the Cat, my favorite season starts Friday, he says. And he adds, men's basketball was in the black on paper but red on the court.
Yeah, they did release the P&L statement. Of course, this is for 23. It's always a year behind. And I think men's basketball made a little over $1 million. But football cleared 52 or 53 million. A lot of other loss leader products. But look, you and I both know LSU is putting more money towards football this year. We're going to see what kind of benefits come from that.
Don't say which sport lost $8.5 million because I don't want to get in trouble.
What's that?
Don't say which sport was in the red $8.5 million. I don't want to get in trouble.
I did not mention that.
All right.
But baseball, Carl, look, all I can tell you is this. Anybody that would get on a freaking bus to go to Omaha, and I forgot how he got back, that's a true loyal LSU fan.
Absolutely.
So, Cat, we beat you up and have fun with you, but
no, I love Carl the Cat.
You can write a book about Carl the Cat. Although I got to tell you, Jacques and Cobble and Chess and all that, he's losing his stroke. I don't see him getting as much TV airtime anymore as he used to. Do you?
No.
So work on that TV airtime game, Carl.
All right, here we go.
Drive in style and luxury with a new Genesis from Genesis of Lafayette. Buy a 2023 Genesis G70 3.3T Sport Prestige Executive Demo and pay only $39,870. Buy a new 2025 GV70 and take $2,000 off the MSRP with value owner, competitive owner incentive, plus finance for 2.99% APR for 60 months or 3.99% APR for 72 months. Don't forget to start your shopping online by visiting genesisoflafayette.com.
There it is, Genesis of Lafayette. Go shop online at genesisoflafayette.com. Call them 877-856-2961. Tell them TigerBait sent you in. And again, they sell more Genesis vehicles than any Genesis deal in the state of Louisiana. Why? Because they don't play around. They're going to go the extra mile. If there's a particular color or interior color choice you want, they're going to bend over backwards. They're going to go 4 states over and get it for you. And they're not going to try to get you on a bunch of additions and add-ons and so forth. And they're going to deliver it to your driveway if they have to. And they want to earn your business. Big LSU fans, Genesis of Lafayette. And tell them again, TigerBait sent you in.
Your future wife was joking and being facetious, but she one time deadpanned and she said, I love that Genesis almost as much as I love Mike.
She loves it.
But it's classy, it's safe, it gives you everything that you want. And Tiger Woods to this day thanks them because they saved his life.
Yep. That GV80, he flipped that thing. What was he going, 120? He wasn't going slow, I assure you.
I have no idea.
All right. Baseball this weekend. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to see?
By the way, in case you missed it, Kate Anderson, lefty, who last year against Southeastern struck out the first 7 batters. He's really fluid. He's smooth. He's just, it's unbelievable how at times he looked phenomenal last year. So obviously he's carried that on. Anthony Eisen, one of the guys coming in from the portal, really good chunker. And then Chase Shores. Jay keeps mentioning, you think he's been around a long time, but he's been injured coming off Tommy John. So want to see what those guys, they're probably going to be on the pitch limit. So you'll get 6 innings or so out of those guys. And with that plethora of pitchers, now you find out where Gavin Guidry is going to come in. Who is going to be in the mix to be a closer? Who's your long setup guy? Who's your righty? Who's your lefty? All those roles will start to be established. And it looks like we're going to have a program because there are a ton of players. I'm telling you, I think Jay won't say it. I think he's got more depth than he's ever had, and that includes the national championship.
Well, there's one thing that I like that he said. I want to say it was with me and Kendall yesterday, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was last week. We've had Jay 3 times, twice at the box, and then the show yesterday. But what I liked about him is he feels like with what he's going to have on the back end of the lineup, it's not home run or bust.
Yeah.
Where he feels like he's got guys who can get on base and get key hits, and it's not living or dying by the home run. And how many games was that last year where you just felt like, when you looked at the three that was coming up in the top of the inning, if they were down, that it was going to be a tall order and they were just swinging away and hoping for the best. It sounds to me that he feels like and what did he say? He doesn't like being built that way. That's not what he's used to. And so I think he's got the kind of hitters that he wants.
LSU hit 114 home runs last year. Jared Jones had 28. Both Ben and I agreed he's going to hit 30 this year. I am in a different frame of mind here. Everybody's saying they're not going to hit that many. I'm going to disagree. They're going to hit more than 114. Might be 117, might be 120. Luis Hernandez, all these guys that you don't know about. Stephen Milam started to hit the long ball. I mean, I'm looking for them once again, but I think you make a great point, Mike. Now you're going to be from 1 through 9. You're not going to have many weak hitters. Milam, Ben told me this today on the show. He's hearing Milam might start off in the 8th hole. Can you imagine having Monster hitting the 8th hole? Look, you know what you're going to have the first 4 or 5 guys, but 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then, as we know, with all that depth, some guys will come in to play defense. He's going to be able to utilize more players than he ever has, and it does take a little while. I expect them this weekend to dominate Purdue Fort Wayne.
All right, Dykes Electric, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. 200,000 square foot warehouse you need built, they can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, they can wire that. Changing out a breaker, a whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle in your home or office, they can wire that. Upgrading the old lighting in your home or office, they can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. And make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. Huge LSU fans, locally owned and operated, great people, and we're proud to have them as the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. And Struby's, look at that big cowboy ribeye right there on that screen. Another fine sponsor of TigerBait, 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Great steaks, Wagyu New York strip, dry-aged pork chop, lobster, pasta, redfish, much more. Again, locally owned and operated restaurant, ownership right there in the building, taking a very high level of pride in what they deliver and put on your table. Fresh ingredients. I think Struby's, honestly, is one of the best buys in town is the quality of the food, the price point, the dining experience. And you go down there at night, date night, whatever it might be, and it's easy parking down there. It's a beautiful restaurant.
Hey, we're going to try to get a group over there in football season. We tried to work that out, but crazy stuff
We're doing
happens.
it this year.
But I'm going to have the pork chop team. You're going to have the steak team. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I will buy Carl the Cat a steak under one condition. He cannot put bourbon on it. He wanted to do that in Omaha. If you do that, you're not a real steak eater. No ketchup as well. I like the pork chop. You like the steak. We'll have some bets again. But once again, I went over there. Didn't know where to park. Called the lady up. The hostess do a fantastic job of navigating you in and out. They're very communicative, and they appreciate your business. Give them an opportunity, folks.
Absolutely. All right. Ryan Stadler, I agree with you guys. Just go out there and get a damn win week 1. But if we lose, I'm all for playing Kent State and baked potato steak. Yeah.
Well, no, I've got to ask you. So now that this is unfortunately a tradition with LSU losing 5, 2 on O's watch and 3 on BK's watch. But some of these guys, and especially the younger guys, that maybe want to move a cupcake like the Grambling game to week 0. And now they're playing on August 30th, so I guess that would be August 23rd, which would probably be week 0. Would you be for that, or you would rather see them line up? And it's happened to LSU before now. Florida State's done it. UCLA did it.
The money that's involved in those games, and I mean, I'd like to be a fly on the wall when ESPN calls ABC and starts, talking about a game they want to have in Vegas or Orlando or New Orleans or whatever it is. And I know LSU's always liked it because you make as much money or more, and you don't have all the game day operations that you have to pay and take care of.
But Clemson's home and home now.
Yeah.
Clemson's home and home. So.
But the Sunday night games, you're the only game on TV. The exposure, it's kind of like, man, I've heard Verge Osbury, and I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically saying, man, we're LSU. We're not running from anybody. That's not who we're supposed to be. And I get it. I get that sentiment. But it's also supposed to be now with the playoffs and an expanded playoffs where you shouldn't be afraid of those games, where you're not, feeling you have to run the table and either be 11-1 or undefeated to have a chance at being a national title contender. But with the expanded SEC, it makes it even tougher. And then who knows if they ever go to a 9 game.
I just don't see how they could justify that. They're cannibalizing each other now. You've seen it in SEC basketball. They're beating up on each other. Kentucky's beaten Tennessee twice. You can go on and on and on. You add another conference game, Mike.
There's too many games.
Now you've got a disparity of one team having 4 home games and another team having 5. So you'll have 4 at home and 5 on the road. Next year you'll have 5 at home and 4 on the road. I don't like the 9 game
When Ohio
schedule.
State finally played that national championship game, I think people had already moved on. College football at that point was kind of like, man, this is it went on too long.
Wait a minute. By the way, let's say hello to our Notre Dame friends. They're not watching anymore.
No.
But they've lost their defensive coordinator. They've had 3 or 4 offensive linemen get in the portal. And so, that's the thing about college football. That's why this is a year for BK. There is no excuse for him to lay an egg. And I'm going to make the prediction right now. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe at LSU Clemson. That is a Saturday game. Would love to see it on ABC 6:30. But look, no more excuses. BK's teams have historically started slow. That's got to be flipped. And guess what else? Got some new special teams coaches. They're going to be under mass scrutiny on the night of August 30th. They just cannot afford to screw up a game and lose a game early because of a special teams faux pas. Just can't do it.
Yeah. Hit the like button. Says Fire. Thank you for that. Ryan Stadler, say what you will about Les Miles. He always did traditionally well in those kind of games. Although I think a lot of people who went to Green Bay would.
Oh, that was the maddest I've ever seen. I didn't have a media ticket. Jim Dummigan Travels put me and the girlfriend there on the 45. And at halftime, Mike, they were going up to the concourse. And I'm telling you, Tiger fans were smoking cigarettes. Like, that bastard. I mean, they were dog cussing him. He had said that they were going to throw it. I mean, it was just one big cluster frick. If Brandon Harris had hit the wide receiver, they'd have had a chance to win it with a field goal. That being said, I really think that's when the fans fired him, Les Miles, in that game.
I was the year before.
I've never seen him that mad. So
I was the year before, but I'd gotten off his wagon years before that.
And look, Les is hard to his record is unbelievable, but then you can look back at some of the inequities that came out later. And, he did make a lot of games that shouldn't be close. Never really had consistent recruitment or development of quarterbacks. Look what LSU's quarterbacks have done.
It's crazy.
And how cool is this now with Burrow, Daniels, and now Nussmeier? Nuss going to have a potential great year. But now we talk about it. What are you hearing on Haven from Dunham and Nussmeier? How do you think that's going to shake out?
I don't know how that's going to play out. I really don't.
Peyton Houston, I mean, this is what I'm saying. They've got more interest in more guys to sell quarterbacks. And, oh, by the way, if you're not a wide receiver and doesn't want to come to LSU, look at what's happened here in the last 6-7 years.
Yep. Brad David, do you think the boosters will start to put more money into men's basketball? And how does women get so much NIL when they lose money? Let look, Kim Mulkey has a following. She's got North Louisiana people that are maybe Tech fans. She's got people from Waco, Texas, that are all about Kim Mulkey and are I think are still giving money. Kim Mulkey is very good at knowing who to talk to and putting in the extra time. Her and her staff, they get what they need. Now they're not gonna go out and spend $1.5 million for the girl. What's her name? Chavez. But yeah, you get 3 really good ones, and then I'm can't wait to see what they're going to do in the portal this summer. But I mean, it's always a moving target. You think you have what you need to go in the portal and get what you need, and then you find out that your estimates for what you were going to need to spend is about 30% less than what 30% more than what you have.
Well, I think it's a layered question because you have a lot of things going on here. It's the chicken and egg thing. What comes first? McMahon is not charismatic. McMahon has not shown that he belongs in the SEC. Terrell Ward was a big loss for him, regardless of how that played out. Jalen Reed, you can't do anything about an injury. But how many of those guys are going to leave?
They're saying Corey Chess is going to be an $800,000, $1 million guy.
And let me tell you something. Corey needs his ass kicked. I mean, he blew that game against Ole Miss. To miss the dunk, to commit a technical, and then for Matt McMahon to have him in the game, shooting free throws at the end. So I'm not going to beat him up, but my point is that how are you going to entice all this money if people don't think they're going to get some ROI, return on the investment, and get LSU back? It's a tough sell right now.
Look, he signed some nice high school kids, but, man, he's going to have to be big in the portal. And it's like, well, what does he have to work with? How much money does he have to spend in the portal? Can he even be competitive?
Well, $2 to $2.2 million is what we've gotten from sources.
When the SEC is this strong in basketball, and you've got the second lowest or the lowest budget NIL to spend, well, you want to talk about chicken or the egg? I mean, so if he doesn't have somebody step forward and say, "Man, we're going to make a run at it. We're going to get you what you need," and then people will see what kind of coach you are. If that doesn't materialize and he gets just, average and below average guys and guys we got to coach him up, well, he's basically walking dead. It's another year and he's fired. And nobody has any excitement. There'll be no anticipation for next season. It'll just be a waste of time.
And who is he going to lose?
And it's a shame because he's got good staff. He's got good coaches. I love Jeff Moore. He's a great guy himself. But, man, I'm sorry.
Well, look, I made those comments about Corey Chess. I feel better that I got him off my chest. But look, he's got a big chest. But for him to miss a dunk and then lose his cool, here's the problem I see with Coach McMahon. He doesn't discipline these guys. How many times have we talked about Jordan Sears and Cam Carter dribbling out of control? Mike, they got one freaking shot off in the last 3 minutes against Ole Miss. That's partly coaching. Got to call timeout. Settle down. Mike Williams III was in the backcourt and was able to break the press and shoot free throws. He was nowhere to be found on Saturday. I hope he gets some PT. Oh, by the way, what do you think so far about Trey Green playing hoops?
Yeah, I don't know. What's the verdict?
I think it's too early to have a verdict on it, but he's got the physicality.
I'd rather be in the weight room.
Well, I know, but that's the whole problem. And you asked the question with BK, and we've asked the question with Matt McGann. At what point does he say, okay, it's not beneficial? He loves basketball, but utilize that talent.
I mean, look, how many minutes is he getting?
He's probably getting 5 or 6 minutes.
All right. The risk of injury. Not just games, but practice, not getting bigger and stronger because you're running up and down a court. You can be in shape. You can be in good shape, but he's a tight end that everybody says he should be a wide receiver when in reality he needs to add more, 20 pounds of muscle if you can get it on him. And so he can actually be a decent blocker in run situations, so he's going to be behind the 8 ball. So, if he's only getting 5 or 6 minutes on a team that's going to finish last in the SEC, then to me, it's a wasted time.
But he wants to do it. So that's the real problem. By the way, the crystal ball just texted me and said, Trey'Dez Green is going to hit a jumper or two, maybe even a 3-ball tonight. Hey, speaking of NIL, John Calipari is down this year with that transition. But Jerry Jones and all of those sugar daddies at Arkansas, this is the problem you have. LSU brings in 2-2, even if it's 2-5. Everybody else in the conference, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 million. They're doubling and tripling up. So he does have some trouble competing on that level. But I just hope the coach is a little more decisive, because you've got to make the right decisions, and you got to keep those guys under control at the back end of the game.
534. Mike, your interview with Jay on Batter Up was great. Thank you for that. It was fun with him and Kendall, and very much appreciate Coach Johnson coming on with us yesterday. Matty Tall, why put yourself at such a disadvantage with a potential week 1 loss? And Big Stack Kelly says, if you're scared, go to church. And Ryan Stadler, Les should have been fired on the spot after leaving the field in Lambeau that evening. Hey, Dane Bergeron in the house. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. I'm at Struby's right now, he says. All right.
Snake, you the man, Snake. I tell you
good.
what, I can't wait to meet Snake and Dr. Daniels this year. Seriously, we got to make that happen now.
Dane, please tell him TigerBait sent you in.
Yes,
do that for, Brad David. Les Miles lost me when he kept botching the clock. Fire 349, Buddy. John Wooden from UCLA never cursed or raised his voice, but won 10 NCAA championships, 7 in a row. McMahon is a good coach, but he needs money to spend.
Well, let me ask you this.
Here's my thing. I realized something tonight.
What's that?
I mean, it's not anything. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been written about by other columnists or whatever in the past. But this job requires who's the 2 most successful basketball coaches in the last 50 years?
Coach K. You're talking about LSU?
At LSU.
Okay.
Well, and
Will Wade.
Brady had some success. Okay. But you would say Dale Brown and Will Wade, wouldn't you?
Okay.
Well, what do those 2 guys have? Big personalities.
Yeah. No doubt. That's what I was talking about earlier. He doesn't have the charisma. That's part of about raising money.
Could you imagine what Bruce Pearl could do at LSU?
Yeah, but everybody talks about that. I saw one guy.
I'm not saying he's a guy I would want. I'm just saying that type of guy.
But all the fans going like Billy Donovan, Rick Pitino, this and all that. They're not coming here.
No, but that's what you need here.
I know, but
where does basketball? It doesn't have to be those names. Who's the next 35-year-old guy like that?
Where does LSU men's basketball rate in the money and the popularity and what people care about?
It's in the dregs, but it shouldn't be that way.
It's behind football, baseball, women's basketball, probably behind women's gymnastics right now.
It is.
And so that's what you have to do. You've got to rebuild.
But it's the money maker. It's a money maker, and you're losing. You're leaving money on the table, and it shouldn't be that way.
Look, I'm not asking for.
I grew up when the PMAC was a tough ticket.
Oh, look, we go back. Remember when you'd have the meter? We'd take the decibels and that meter was going up and down, and that place that truly was.
I was a little. As a little kid, the greatest thing on earth was going to elementary school or junior high and saying, Dale Brown had the tiger come down on a rope from the ceiling. We thought there was nothing better than that. And man, the kids camping out for days for Kentucky and Kyle Macy and all those teams in the 80s. I mean, basketball for a good part of the 80s was a tougher ticket than football.
Yeah.
Believe it.
My point is that the coach has what players need, and that is PT. And if Jordan Sears and Cam Carter turn it over 2 or 3 times in the first half, he ought to tell them, come sit. And I just don't think he's done a good job with personnel and making those kind of decisions. It's a lot easier after the fact. But I'm pulling for the guy. Everybody wants him to win. But as you know, it's more complicated than just rolling the ball out there. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Barry Barbie, have to move money from women's to men's basketball. Yeah, well, that's not happening. They all raise their own money. They all have their own NIL people on their staffs. And, of course, we talked about Tiger traditions a lot on this show. You you designate, if you're a baseball fan, if that's your baby and you want to make sure Jay Johnson gets what he needs player-wise and he's competitive, you make sure that the money you designate is going to baseball for NIL. And so that same for men's, women's basketball, softball, whatever it is. John Smith, the discipline of Bobby Knight is deep needed in today's game. Yeah, that he wouldn't make it in this era. Mike Trades Green has a very nice stroke on free throws. He should shoot for threes.
Oh, he's going to make a three tonight. Who is that? Who came that one out?
Fire.
Fire. You're going to see Trades Green 3 from Arkansas tonight. Oh, by the way, if there's anybody that McMahon likes to see on the other side, it is John Calipari. He's beaten him 2 years in a row. Of course, last year, everybody remembers the Terrell Ward put back in. That's when the place was rocking. And so maybe they'll pull the upset, but they are 9.5-point underdogs tonight.
Would Will Wade be winning with this LSU NIL budget? No, he would not, but he would have raised triple that.
Were you the one telling me? Somebody told me this.
He would not be in the bottom of the league.
Somebody told me this, and I'll throw this out there for you and the audience, but they said Will Wade raised more NIL money when he was at LSU before NIL was here than Matt McMahon's raising legally now. And look, the one thing about Coach Wade, unfortunately, is he got caught. Everybody always has somebody to take the hit, and unfortunately, he was hands-on, and that happened.
He didn't have the plausible deniability.
No, and of course,
there should have been a buffer on that phone.
And as we know, let's be honest, there's a lot of jealousy with not women's, but men's basketball. You got to go through Dale Brown and Collis and all that other. There's a lot of elbows you got to rub. And but with Will Wade, we're bringing in, he would be bringing in $5 million a year in NIL minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy just and that, of course, his show calls ends after this year. We thought it was going to be Texas. The latest scoop I heard is that Chris Beard goes to Indiana and Will Wade could possibly fit at Ole Miss.
Carly Cat, Duke and the UNLV game was on fire. I've got the UNLV game and the Loyola Marymount game on a VHS tape somewhere.
I do too. 148-144. James Brown and Quinn Buckner did the game. Me and the girlfriend recorded it.
What's the Westhead? The coach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Marymount.
But that was unbelievable. I mean, to have that and to see Dale Brown actually want to run with those guys, those classic moments. But don't forget about Georgetown and the Superdome. I mean, that's what people want to remember and see a little bit of.
Yep.
And so hoping that they pull the upset tonight. But look, you're not going to have any postseason. What would we say? 3 or 4? You still think they get to 3 or 4? Or are you still looking now you're going to give him one or two more? Do they win a couple more games? No. They're going to beat Carolina. Okay, they're going to beat South Carolina. Carolina's got 0 right now.
Well, see, they're over there doing shows like this one in Columbia, South Carolina, saying, when are they going to get a win? And they're circling LSU.
Yeah.
So something's got to give.
Look, they've lost how many straight to the women? They're going to beat the men in Carolina.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 3 wins is what they're going to end up with. And that's as positive as I can get.
Yeah, I'm going 2 if it tops. Jay said he trusts Josh Pearson above everyone else. So do you think he will put Pearson at DH? I don't know. Sometimes.
Oh, look, there's so many outfielders this year that you're going to definitely have a lot of guys go in and out. Stanfield's a kid from Auburn that can really run. Derek Curiel, Ben told me, he said, man, this guy is special. Jake Brown, Josh Pearson, his brother John Pearson, Ethan Fry. I mean, there's a ton of outfielders.
I'll tell you this. Josh Pearson's
Ashton Larson. I mean, they are loaded out there.
Josh Pearson's for interviews today, and that's up on our YouTube channel. And they've been talking about the new strength coach. Was it Coach Martin? Is that his name? Right? Isn't that? It's obvious. You could see it in Pearson's legs that he hadn't missed a leg day, and he's hitting them hard. Because he was wearing shorts. And I mean, they're coming out talking about how the whole team has gotten bigger and stronger. So.
And you remember what I correspondently mentioned. This is year 4 for BK. This is year 4 for Jake Flint. I want to see more physicality, more strength, and more people throwing people at the line of scrimmage around like empty Coke cans than we've seen from a finesse team in year 3. Now, they've recruited older guys, more experienced, and probably more physically developed with the transfer portal. But I want to see LSU be a physical football team this year, not finesse. Jake Flint, you're on the clock as well.
Yep.
Sorry, it's the reality of it. See what it does for when you bring in a great strength coach.
Capital City Grill, one of our great sponsors. Great food, great lunch spot, great brunch spot, 100 Lafayette Street. It's an ideal lunch and dinner place for all your dining needs. And great sandwiches. I love the club sandwich, fantastic hamburgers, seafood pasta, steaks, great desserts, best carrot cake in Baton Rouge. And most of everything on the menu is $30 or below. Very affordable. And again, that Sunday brunch from 11 to 2 is fantastic. They're open to 3 on Sundays, but the brunch goes till 2. So you got to get over to Capital City Grill. In fact, that might be when you want to go. Go this Sunday before the LSU baseball game on Sunday. Get your brunch and then head to the box. Load up at Capital City Grill so you're not paying those crazy concession prices at Alex Box.
Hey, you didn't mention chicken and waffles too.
Oh, the chicken and waffles are fantastic.
Unbelievable. Outdoor patio, great bar. I mean, you got everything. Oh, by the way, Big Sal says, I'm on the pork chop team. When we go to
I hope Jay doesn't hear me talking bad about his concession prices, but they're expensive at Alex Box.
Oh, yeah. Well,
a lot of people talk about it.
Big Sal says he's on the pork chop team. So we're going to have a team pork chop versus team cowboy steak sometime this fall.
Yep.
Snake, I'm going to draft you. I hope you're a pork chop guy.
All right. And I need to talk about Alumni Hall. Folks, Alumni Hall, they got everything you need right there, Perkins Row. They've got all new LSU baseball stuff. In fact, check my X feed or check the front page of TigerBait. Go to the baseball tab. I've got every LSU baseball item in one content item where you can see it all. They've got new hats. They've got all the different colored jerseys. If you like the old gray ones, if you like the white pinstripe, you like the gold. They got the kids' jerseys. Every kid in town wants a gold jersey. They've got all the T-shirts. Some of them are 2 for $38. So head over to Perkins Row, and when you check out the register, say TigerBait, and they're going to give you 10% off. Or if you order online, put TigerBait in the coupon code box before you check out, and you're going to get 10% off there. You get free shipping on anything over $99, and you can't beat it. Again, Alumni Hall, big in the NIL space, supporting LSU, and a beautiful store right there in Perkins Row.
Hey, yeah, as you were talking about that, I thought about my T-shirt that I have for Nurse Court, Chicks Dig the Long Ball. I want to shout out to Nurse Court, Danny Girl, and all of our great female listeners. Couldn't do it without you, and appreciate all of you. But, man, when you go into Alumni Hall, I say it every week, give yourself an extra 15 or 20 minutes. Traffic is going to be crazy, but you could literally spend an hour in that store. Last time I was in there, 41 minutes. Ended up getting the TigerBait discount because I told them TigerBait sent me in.
Good. Jay said that Gavin Guidry hit the weight room and his fastball is up to 94 from 88 last year.
Yeah, I heard 92, 93, but he wanted to be a starter. I just think they've got too many powerful arms, and that will be interesting to see how his role is developed this year. But we know when he's on, you talk about the psyche, you talk about the confidence, you talk about the charisma. He is something out there on the mound where he is confident.
All right, anything you want to add on the way out?
Just hope everybody have a great, once again, Valentine's night and weekend. Hope the ladies get treated the right way. Look for LSU to sweep in baseball over Purdue Fort Wayne.
Hopefully the weather stays away and it is a true 3-game weekend.
Basketball tonight at 8 o'clock against Arkansas. Once again, women at 2 o'clock. Gymnastics Friday night. OU and LSU. I'm going to predict a nail biter. And how cool will it be for Haley Bryant to get a 10 and LSU take down OU 197-8 to 197-7. It's great family entertainment. Going to be a hard sellout. And as always, we appreciate all of you. But, hey, don't ever forget that you're lucky to have a team. Can you imagine being a Texas A&M fan? with their. I mean, I know you beat up Kendall every now and then, and you got to say, Kendall, y'all gonna do something this year. But seriously, LSU fans, you don't know how good you have it. Really.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Come back at 7:30 to our YouTube channel, Inside LSU Women's Basketball. We're going to talk about how things are stacking up in the league, the big game against Texas. Emily Ward with me as usual, and Jacques Doucet is going to come in about the midway point, and we ought to have a great show in about 30 minutes. Come back for that. And if you enjoyed this one, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. We're about to hit 35,000 subscribers. Help us get there if you're not subscribed already. So, all right, everybody. Thank y'all for another great show, and we'll see you in 30 minutes. Good night.